All right, good afternoon. Um, I'm going to show the journal that I finished, some few things I bought, uh, the things that I'm going to sell, pre-sell, and then start a new journal. Let me pull up chat on my phone. If you're watching the recording, you might want to go forward just a little bit. Let me pull up chat on my phone. There I am. All right, so I got my Sparks paint and realized, hi Gail, that not all the colors I ordered were actually Sparks. It's so hard to read the fine print when you order on your phone. So 3 of them were Sparks and 2 were Opal Magic and 1 was her metallic. But I'm not mad because I've been looking at these. I had wanted these Opal Metallics when they first came out. Hi Zandra. Hi Elaine. So I'll do the Sparks first. I got a chest of gold. That's not there's another gold that Brenda was telling us about that they have. Ginger Magic and unicorn hair. And I have to say that, and I put them on black too. Oh, that stuck. Sorry. That was still probably too damp. I put them on black as well. So the chest of gold is kind of a bronze color with a gold mica. The ginger magic has kind of a peachy color with a gold mica. And the unicorn hair has kind of a greenish undertone with a silver mica. It looks like a greenish gold. This is them on book text, and you can see that they're very shimmery just by the way the light's hitting them. Now, I will say that on the black, it's hard to tell the chest of gold and the ginger magic apart. The unicorn hair looks very silver on the black, but they did show up well on the black as well. They're very opaque, they're very translucent, very sheer. So it was harder because when I was putting them on, I was using one of these and it was pushing it all off, and you just saw the mica and very little of the color of the paint. So those are the Sparks that I ended up getting. Hi, Christy. Hi, Sin. And then I got the metallic one. I got was a light patina, so it's just a turquoise, and it does have a pretty shimmer. It's not a glitter shimmer like the Sparks, but it is very pretty. And there's another one that's pink that was on my list originally to get. So, like I said, I don't think you can go wrong with fins. And then I got 2 of the Opal Magics. One is a green gold, and the other one is a blue gold. Now, when you look at them on the paper initially, it's hard to tell them apart, but when you rock it, you can see the blue in this one, and you can see the green in this one. Now, on the black, it is much harder to tell them apart. And this is the patina one on the black. These look very similar on the black to me. I can't really tell them apart. But on the book paper, I can definitely tell the one that's got the blue green color. These are all Finnabar paints. So these are Opal Magic. This is a metallic. And these 3 were Sparks. But I went back and looked at the other ones that were Sparks, and there was really only 1 or 2 that I would probably add next time I go into Joggles. And they're on sale at Joggles. They're normally $6.50 a jar, and they're $4.88 on sale. And they were still on sale last night. Hi, Shauna. Yeah, Finn stuff is awesome. So I wasn't, and I had already been looking at the Opal Magics and this kind of turquoise blue one before. This is one of the first ones I had looked at when she came out with some of her metallics. And I got the cat paper, Jersey. If you're watching the recording, I already have this. I got the cat paper, which is super cute. But I was hoping that I would get the same paper that Kathy Berg and Jersey got, but I didn't. So maybe next time. And I'll use these somewhere later, so I'm just going to set those aside. All right. So let's do the journal. Can you see, is it too much of a glare or too dark, or is it just my screen? I think it's okay. So I had printed the zebra big. So I used that and I jelly printed a piece of, I had brought home some 11 by 17 copy paper. And I had a blank page of it still. Some of it's written on, and I am going to still use it. Some of it has notes, but this is what I used to cover the journal. It's 11 by 17 copy paper. I'm going to jelly print this and paint this. These are just science notes, and I'll probably use the same thing when I cover the new one because it worked out really well. It fits perfect for a cover, and it's fairly heavyweight for copy paper. It's slick, and I just didn't want it to go to waste. So, and I used I used last month's Stencil Girl, and then this is the new stencil, the big one, and then a piece of washi. And this I covered with iridescent varnish and a gloss varnish. It's not super glossy. Most of the stuff is matte. And I used some quotes. It says, "You're capable of becoming more than you realize. Creativity takes courage." All right, so we'll just do relatively, let me bring the camera down and we'll do a quick flip through. I hate opening it's a pain. You got to go live before you can open the controls. All right, and I'm going to flip these a little because I am getting a little, on my screen, I'm getting a little bit of a glare. I think that'll help. It's that shimmer that's causing on the cover. Hi, Belinda. Hi, Nash. All right, so when I covered the page, I mitered the corners and folded in, and then I had cut a piece of paper for the inside to glue on top. You can see a little on the edge where it wasn't quite long enough. I brought it over farther and it's curled, but this is quite, I mean, the book is quite fluffy. So that's my first cover page, which most of you have seen. This was how the Jimi Hendrix bunny came out. And we had to look this word up. This came from the Sticker Nation book. And this means like to emulate or support an idea, an era, a movement. So we thought that this bunny and Jimi Hendrix and Woodstock emulated the 60s. And since Jimi Hendrix was a guitar player, rocked the Zygus. All right, and then this was the Sir Isaac Newton bunny. So I put Ask Me About My Brilliant Hypothesis. It's a numbers game since he was a scientist and a mathematician, and I teach science. So there's numbers in the background. I thought it fit. This one has the elephants. It says, sometimes you are most in touch with the world when you're out of touch. This is one of my favorite all-time jelly print stencil things I did. So it's on my digital pages. I need to go in and print some of that again. I want to print it on rice paper. This is my pug. We named her Bella Luna. It was a fib paint along. This is more the vein that I want to do the second journal in. I want to do it more modern, more abstract. So I'll probably use some stamped tissue elements, kind of an Asian feeling. This is one of the pages I just didn't know what to do. And I found this quote that I think Norma sent me. It was a calendar quote about experience being a hard teacher, because the first 10 lessons, you learn after you've done it. And this was a cat that I had laying to the side that wasn't incomplete, and I went ahead and finished it and put it on there with some washi, because this is one of the pages that stuck really bad. Hi, Janet. This is my niece's dog, Lily, and I had done a pet portrait for her. And then I just put on a quote about like remembering that your pets are like fur family. It says, it's the little things that make life big. Collect beautiful moments. Remember to play. Love with all your heart. This is what family looks like. And that the idea that our pets are part of our family. Hi, Elaine. This one, I really liked the way the pages came out. I wish the bird popped a little more. In hindsight, I probably should have put him over here on the turquoise. And I just put something about autumn and nature. This page I used apply knowledge to the situation, because to me it was kind of a science and mathy page again. This page I put a nautical bunny. It's called Shelly because it's got all shells in the background, and a watercolor original called Moonlight Bay. And the quotes are about being a bunny and about nature's wonder and the sea. This one was the penguin, and I just put a quote about wintertime. This is my Gibson, and I just put a quote about being a cat. This was another page that I really loved, that how it came out, and it was the speckled egg spray. It was just a mishmash cleanup page on the rice paper, the tinted Daddy Van Timmy tissue. This was a piece of my original, like a little 6x6 art, and a little sewing like stamp, so it looks like it's stitched. This was some about the storm, and she's looking out into the vast blue. I liked this one, how this one came out too. This was a ballerina that I had done, inspired by Lena. And then I just did quotes about like living your dream and reaching for your dreams. This one turned out super cute. This was the Alice in Wonderland theme bunny that I did for a friend. It was a commission. So I found some different Alice in Wonderland quotes that I thought went on this other page. And it has just I liked this green and yellow button because it picked up the roundness of the clocks and the green of his clothes and the background. This was just sprays and Daddy Vans, and I kind of left it the way it was because I liked it. Just put a quote. All right, Joycey. This is Joycey's bunny and Colleen's bunny. So I tried to put quotes, that I think fit both of them. So on Joyce's bunny, it says, live simply, give generously, find joy in the ordinary. Everything has beauty, because she is the queen of repurposing things and making us see that we could use something and not waste it. And then on Colleen's bunny, it says, creativity takes courage. Leave a little sparkle wherever you go. Fall in love with as many things as possible. Because you know how we always say Colleen just loves this and that. She's a little of everything. So I really like how this one came out. And this was the tinted daddy vans that I made in the background through a stencil on top of inks or sprays. These were the Kathy Arbor inspired. Well, this is actually from Shauna, and it's a jelly printed napkin with leaves. And I'm assuming it might have been those skeleton leaves, because you do have the details. I don't know if it was real leaves or not. Shauna could probably tell you. But this I had from Shauna. This was my cleanup the day that I was doing the Kathy Arbor prints. Every time I was doing the crusty bits technique, I would take off the first coat with the same paper. This was sprays and stencils and a jelly print. Kind of has a steampunk vibe. This was sprays and stamps, and then gel medium, or not gel, gesso through the Stamperia stencils and the Tim Holtz numbers. This was the inks again, and a napkin that had the Timmy stencils. And this is a polar bear that I had done earlier. This was a goggle bunny. I do an art show every year called Art Goggle, and they always do goggle artwork. So this was a piece that I had done and sold during that art show that was called Artemis. And so I kind of did a steampunk, and he kind of looks like World War II. So, you know, declare victory. Yeah, real leaves. Yeah, I knew that was from you, and I knew I'd had it a while. All right, so this was a jelly print with stencil work over it, a napkin. This is a picture that I painted. I told y'all the story. Then I made me a little tag with some old-timey scrapbook paper, and then I put the little story on the tag with some ribbon and tucked it in there. This is another one of my favorite. I didn't like this page at all the way it came out. It was jelly prints with jelly print paper on top of it and some stamping or stencil work on top of it. And then we did some more gesso. And now in the end, it's one of my favorite. Well, it is too, because not everybody has the real stuff, Shauna. Hi, Amy. Hi, Laura Lou. And then I painted in the background. A little bit of this was the background that was cut out with the bear, but I used Dee Dee's technique where you kind of match it and kind of painted it out. This was a bird that I had done on a little 6x6 canvas. And these are the FW type inks. And I just didn't cover it up anymore because I like how it feels like suede almost. And I just put quotes. This was the FW ink type stuff with a jelly printed napkin, an art piece that I did, a quote, a feather napkin, another quote, and a little heart that I had. And it says, no beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart. Make today count, love with all your heart. And this is a quote about being friends. And this one I ended up really liking. I didn't like it when I started it. We just threw down the Daddy Vans Tinted Timmy tissue, and some of the stuff was lifting, so I used kind of a mermaid's tail stencil. I added some more tissue. This is a picture I did called Laura. It's one of the only vintage girl artwork that I have in here. And I put a quote about women. This was a fib paint along that we did. And I like how this one turned out. And then I used like a journaling card to put the quote on to give it that little pop of color. This was Joggle stencil paper that most of you have seen. And then I stenciled feathers in 2 different stencils with the Finnabar metallics wax and just put some quotes. This was a lot of sprays and grunge, then gesso, then some Deco Arts tissue, and a quote from Sticker Nation. Hi, Dottie. This was my Hurricane Harvey donation to a fundraiser bunny. So I put relief for Hurricane Harvey over here, and I put about like coming through the storm in all the quotes and rebuilding and progress. This is my Tay Tay. She's my baby. Hi, Tanya. This, I didn't know what to do. And then Teresa sent this beautiful condolence card that she made and put a very lovely note for Bob and I. So I made a pocket, and then I had this journal card, and then I put in a little, well, I covered it with the different journal cards. So on the outside, it says, live in the moment, live every day with intention, collect beautiful moments. So it's a quote about like living in the moment and enjoying your life. And then on the inside, I put a Celtic cross for Bobby and Christopher. They have Irish heritage. And I put, keep moving forward, stronger than yesterday, collect the beautiful moments. So we just to remember that it'll get better with time. Hi, Deborah. All right, and this one was sprays and tissue paper that was stamped and tissue that was jelly printed and napkins and an old book page. And then I finally didn't know what to do with it, and I found this bird that was on a napkin. So I used Shauna's trick and put some white. And then when I was done, I came back in with some of the Distress Oxide and covered up some of the areas with Distress Oxide. This was kind of a steampunk, and I used an oversized stencil. All right, this was another one that kind of, I really like how it turned out. This is London Jack. We had done, again, I was trying to do some steampunk type bunnies for Art Goggle. And we had done some smaller bunnies, and this one had a London-based napkin behind it. So we had done this Gentleman Jack. And then Lori had bought this motorcycle bunny, and we did a girl bunny. And so the 2 smaller ones are Lori's bunnies. And then I put a quote about being fearless and independent. And there's some of Joan's die cut stencils. This one was just a jelly print with napkin over and some quotes about nature. This one was a jelly print napkin, quotes about being empowered. And this was my Moulin Rouge girl. This one was I want to say it was like sprays, and then we jelly printed on top of it, and I didn't want to do anything to it. This was the other part of the jelly print, and it didn't come out that, so I put a heron on there and put some quotes about nature. Peacock feather. This was jelly print. This was napkin. No, that was all jelly print and sewing tissue. And just a quote about being original. This was our zebra and some quotes. And this was jelly prints with jelly prints on top of them and rice paper. This one was a hot mess. Still don't know if I like it. It was a lot of sprays, then napkin, then stencil work, then some extra jelly papers. So I put a quote, and this was a little Kingfisher watercolor I'd done, and I used washi tape. Yeah, J Monkey's here. She was earlier. This was Bobby's bunny, the farmer bunny that I did, and we put grow organic, and then it's all got fruit and stuff in the background. And this was the 1980s wall stencil that I used. Again, I'm using some oversized stencils in a different way, and I kind of like it. And then I came back in with some diluted white paint, and it almost kind of looks like a patinaed metal. This is the sheep that Dottie bought, and it's talking about like not being a sheep and guarding your ideas and not just following. And that's some more of that paper that I love. This is the monkey that we did, or that I did. And then it's got about, it's got the quote, "Not my circus, not my monkeys," and a quote we found about like telling the truth and like minding your own business. This was a dog that I did for a friend of mine, a commission. It was like a mascot, the Bulldogs. And this was like sprays and gesso. It's a Stencil Girl Club stencil from a couple months ago. And then I just put a quote that life is short, play with your dog. This was from a New Year's Eve stream where we paper pieced a girl from a magazine, and I showed how to do that. And I liked this was like graffiti-like, and that graffiti is kind of an anti-establishment art form. This was Audrey Hepburn. This is the first piece that I ever sold on Etsy. Was an Audrey Hepburn 8x10 canvas, mixed media. And this was an Audrey Hepburn piece that I had drawn and used colored pencil. And it was like a 9x12 original, and it sold. And I put an Audrey quote from, and then stuff about, you know, she was crazy and being original and that kind of stuff. This is the girl with the hair that I did, the really big one. It's 11x17 in real life on this really cool black background. And we just put like being sure of yourself. Which one, Tanya? The Audrey Hepburn or the girl with her hair up in the air? And this was another goggle bunny, and this one was more World War II. So I put honor bound to defend liberty, and it's on spray Daddy Van jelly printed papers, and I just liked all the colors together. And then this is Lori's giraffe, and to finish it out, what I did was I just put a piece of scrapbook paper and some map on the inside of the flap. And once all that was done, I took a sponge and paint and put different layers of green so it looks like she's looking through some bushes. And these I put like Journey, Adventure Weight Shoe because of the maps, and kind of telling myself to like follow your art journey. Oh, Audrey. Yeah. So that is the finished journal. Some of them I really like. I'm going to take pictures and make digitals. If I think that it's something that others, and I think that it will photograph and make a good digital, it's going to depend on the quotes or where the artwork lands. You know, like the zebras on one page, that works, but the polar bear is on 2 pages. So if I think that something, but Bob was like, what is that for? What is that for? He keeps saying, what is that for? It's there because I learned a lot throwing down the paint, throwing down the papers. I made digitals. So I'm going to do another one. But before we start that and get messy, I'm going to show you and do a pre-sale. And if anyone is interested in purchasing something, I'm going to give you an opportunity to purchase it today. All right, so I took the buttons and I have 10 assorted bags of buttons. And I'm going to sell the buttons for $5 a bag, but I have a deal for you. I have several of these decorative pencil size bags. Normally they sell for $10, but we're going to do a sale. If you buy from me a bag of buttons and a pencil bag, I'll sell it for $10. Basically, if you're buying a bag, the buttons are free. So I'll do a sale, and I'm going to, it's not on Etsy, so you'd have to contact me or buy it in the chat. I can show you the bags that I have. And I have 9 button bags like this. You want this one right here, Shauna. Okay. And the buttons are just assorted. All right, I'm just going to put some of the bags out. Some of them have Timmy paper that's kind of duplicates. All right, Tanya, let me show you the bags and you pick out a bag. And let me get all right. And I have a couple of the bags that are just alcohol ink. This is tinted Timmy paper. I have poppies, black and white. Okay, black and white with yellow and orange. This one right here, left side, middle left. This one. No. Left side. This is the left. Oh, right side, this one. Black and white, yellow and orange. This one. The all white or the one that's got the stains? Elaine, do you know which one you want? All white, this one. That's a pretty one. It's that Timmy tissue. That's all right, Tanya. All right. There is. I'm going to cut these tags because that's what's making them. There's some more florals. Yeah, there is a lag because I'm watching on chat. Elaine, did you pick out which one you want? Ink one with blue and yellow. Ink one with, okay. This one. The bird one. There's two bird ones, Belinda. There's one that is blue. All right. There is this one stained blue and one is stained with the antique. With the brown stains. It's very pretty. It's more Timmy tissue. All right. The other buttons that I have, besides the regular bags, and they're $5 also, and I'll do the same deal if you want them with a bag. And if one of you that bought bags want to switch out your buttons, just let me know. Because we can do that. All right. So I have 3 bags that have an assortment of brass style buttons, the kind that you see on jackets. I'm going to give you my email where you can send me your address, and I'm going to give you a couple options to pay in just a few minutes. Yeah, PayPal or Google Pay. So I'll put it in chat in just a minute. I had a banner, but it didn't come up. There we go. There's my. You can do any of any of those. And if we have to, we can even do Etsy. Second one, bottom, far right. This one. The purple bag, this one, Tanya. And these aren't coins, they're brass. And Deborah, what kind of buttons did you want? This is the one you're talking about, right, Deborah? Hi, Teresa. All right, let me refresh my chat. Brass button and the poppy bag, Jan. Gotcha. And then I have some specialty buttons that I'll show you too. I'm waiting for Deborah to answer me if she wants regular buttons or if she wants the last brass. Or if she wants regular buttons. So, Deborah Brown, this the bag you're talking about? And do you want brass buttons or regular buttons? All right, and I'll show you the specialty ones I have. While we're waiting on Deborah. This bag has flowers, bees, and these little like clay pots. I'll show you and you tell me what you want. This is bees, flowers, and clay pots. And it is not, I don't know how many ounces. It's 31 grams. Then I have a bag of some crystal and some pearl. These and again, this is only like 43 grams. These are a lot older. Then I have a bag of cats. These are assorted cats. There's even some milk bottles and some food bowls. This has kind of mod like hearts, suns, emojis, little VW bug cars, lips, all kind of modern. And then this is sewing. It's like thread and sewing machines. There's a little yarn. There's a couple of the spools, the empty little spools, pair of scissors. The last brass. Got it, Deborah. And then the last one is kind of a hodgepodge. There's what looks like a Harry Potter, what I would think of a Harry Potter set. There's a witch's hat, a castle, a wizard. Then there's a dog, there's a fish, there's hearts, there's stars, there's two doll faces, there are flags, there's an owl. So I think and there's a couple candles. So this was kind of the crystal Elaine. Yes. There's some really neat ones in here. And some of these look like they might have had something in them. But if you use these, I think you could, if you use them in mixed media, there's an opening in here, and I think you could sit another stone inside of there. I think there was a rhinestone that fell out because they're old. All right, let me refresh chat. Yes, Elaine. Yes. And I don't care if it's PayPal or Google Pay. And if you'll email me your address just to make sure, you can either use the DAEPS61@gmail or DAEPS10@gmail. I answer both emails. My PayPal is on the one that's 61 and Google Pay is on the 10. But both of those work. They're on the scroll. You can also message me through Etsy if you need to use a different credit card or something and okay. I think shipping for most of you is going to be $4 because what I'm going to do is try to get it in the smallest bag I can. But I'll figure out what I'll invoice everybody. If you'll email me, I'm going to do like Johnny. If you'll email me, then I'll send you an invoice. I'll email you back what you would be and what the shipping would be, depending. All right. So I'm going to set these buttons aside and I'm going to put these in the shop. And then I think what I'll do is take the extra, I'll probably offer it again on Friday with the bags when I stream to see if there's anybody who's not here or anybody, because I do still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the assorted buttons. And since I'm not going to any art shows, I thought that would be the perfect way. Actually, I have 6 of the assorted buttons. All right. I'm double checking. Because I've got everybody's buttons in the bag with their name. The cat bum? Sure, Jan. There are an assortment. There are some of these that are this size in some different neutrals. Now, these are shank, and this is not a shank. There's a tall, skinny cat. There are 2 of the little milk bottles. They're not buttons, but they're flat backed, and 2 of the shank bowls that say eat. I don't know if they go together or not. There are some of these little pouncing cats. In different colors. There's some little cat faces, all in the same color. There are these little itty bitty cats. So that's kind of what the set looks like. Let me zoom the camera down. Just a second. My mouse is not cooperating. Okay. You want the blue bird bag. Okay. Give me just a second, Elaine, and I'll get that. Yeah, the cat buttons are super cute. And this cat goes in the Harry Potter bag. Did you lose me? Okay. This blue bird bag right here. Yes. Yes, Jan. All right. So that'd be 20, Elaine, right now. Oh. All right, let me put that little button in the... I have watercolors. I'm going to show the watercolors in just a few minutes, Tanya. So give me just a minute. That's why I said I'll invoice everybody at the end. And we'll figure out kind of what shipping would be. All right. We'll do the watercolors. The watercolors are normally like 25. There should be 25. I had them marked down to 15 today. I want to get rid of them. We're going to sell them for 10. 20 if you get set of 6. So let me show you what I have. And they have numbers on them. But I also have Post-it notes. So the watercolors are going to be $10 today. All right, so this one has a coral. This is T15. It has a coral, a gold, and a purpley blue color. That's T15. And then I have another one that is very similar. It's the last one I open up. And this one's a gold, blue, and coral. So these two are very similar. These two right here are Dr. Pepper, tomato soup, and Fritos. So it's a gold, a rusty red, and a purpley brown. These are Yummo colors, if I don't say so myself. This one's got the Frito gold, the Dr. Pepper, and a purpley blue. This one's more blue. This one's more purpley. This one's got a copper, a golden yellow, and kind of a rose gold brown color. We might have to swatch those. This one has sage, raspberry, and a gold. Yeah, so there's a green, a raspberry, and a gold. The Dr. Pepper, the tomato soup, and the Frito is T1 and T2 if you get the lunch combo. Okay, one of those, Teresa? Or do you want the set with the Dr. Pepper, Frito, and the blue? Okay, Ralph. Is this my Ralph? And Seth? And Sammy? And how are y'all? These are my students. They're not trolls, so none of the mods kick them out. They're really good kids. The blue, gold, and coral Belinda. The blue, gold, and coral Belinda. Sorry, boys. We're in the middle of a sale. I'm waiting for Teresa to answer me. Okay. T2. All right, give me just a second to get caught up. Okay, that's Belinda. This is Teresa Peterman. T2. Yeah, I got it, Teresa. T2. All right, and Tanya said brown, copper, yellow. Brown, copper, yellow. And then Jan said the lunch combo. So Jan T. You're not bothering me, guys. I just wanted you to know that what we were doing, why it's kind of crazy right now. No, I got it. I got it, Teresa. T2, which is the lunch combo. I got it. T2. Your name's in there. And I got Jan, the other lunch combo. And Tanya, blue, gold, coral. Blue, gold, coral. Blue, gold, coral. Okay, Tanya, are you saying both of these? Yeah, they're some of my all-time favorites. And Jan, you want this one right here. The brown, copper, yellow. This one. The brown, copper, yellow. All right, so that means there are two left. There is a gold Dr. Pepper and a blue and a kind of a coral color, a gold, and a bluish purple. You want both. Tanya wants both. So there's only one left. And I'll put them in one little tray, Tanya, so that the shipping, it helps with the shipping be less. Okay? When I wrap them up. Let's do this, Tanya. All right, let's do this, Tanya. Let's make you a set of 6 that's unique. Because these golds are all going to be very similar. That's the most metallic. And these two are very close to each other. One is more copper and one is more coral. I think we should do this. I think we should do the copper, gold, and bronze colored one. And I think we should do this purpley blue that's really yummy. And a Frito pie. And then let's do the Dr. Pepper and the Frito. This is more metallic gold. And this is more opaque. This one. Okay? It'd be less likely to be so close in color. Yes, I noticed, Dottie, but you just bought a picture. Plus shipping is cray-cray to the UK. Yes, I will. I'm going to put them in one tin, Jan, so that it ships less. All right, so that just leaves one little set left. All right, so that's it for the watercolors. So the next thing, and I'll wrap those all in the foil before I ship them. All right, so now we'll do the books. I like the blue paper because it's easier to see. All right, so the first book is the most expensive, is the most rare. And if someone buys this, it will be sent media mail. All the books are going to ship separately. So they would be separate shipping. This is from 1986. I scoured. You cannot find a hardback one available. It came out of the library of a school I used to work at. It's in perfect mint condition. It talks about all of the hurricanes from 85, 86, 84. It talks about how to track. It has some history in there of hurricanes. It talks about tides. There's charts. It has etched ink and pen type etched images. There are 168 pages. I'm going to sell it for $35. If anyone is interested today. And shipping will be probably around $4, I think. You do not want a hurricane book, Eileen? Imagine that. I got to put my hair up. And I'm going to list it in the shop. like I said, I only found one on Abe Books, and it was a paperback edition. So Tanya, are you saying you want it? It's DAFs10@gmail. Just a second. So Tanya, oh, it's in perfect condition. This is my email. Either one. Either one. So Tanya, did you say you want this? I don't know that there's anybody else here, so you could have first dibs on it if you want it. Okay. Tanya, what I'll do is I'm going to put your order as a custom order in the Etsy shop, and I'll send you a link. And now the book will have to go separate because of the shipping. Because we're going to send this book media, but there can't be anything else in the box but book. All right. And again, no one's going to hurt my feelings because I'll show these on Friday. I know we don't have the like book crowd here necessarily. I have 16 of these books. They are from 1951. They are called The Book of Knowledge. In every book, there are plates. There's always some like wonder questions, and it taught kids about different science concepts and different history concepts. There's always a section on animal life, plant life, history, the United States, fine arts. There's always stories in here, short stories. There are always poems in every book. I'm not going to go through and say what's in each book because that is way complicated, but there's always poetry. Which ID is this one? So I'm going to sell these for $5. They're not any that are specifically on one topic, but I do have an index. 2. So Shauna, we can see if there are any on American Indians. And they do have the slick pages, not the dry. In book 1, there is the early inhabitants of America. So that's where the Indians would be. Mostly is in book 1, Shauna. There are flowers in probably every book, but there's not one dedicated to flowers. So I'm looking for the there's a table. So it always has the earth, science, wonder questions, animal life, plant life, our own life, familiar things, countries, the US, Canada, fine arts, literature, famous books, stories, poetry, golden deeds, men and women, things make colored plates, and then it goes in and tells you the colored plates. So this one would be the only one. You just want the index, Shauna. So there's not one specifically with one thing. All right. I'm going to use the index, and I'm going to see, while we still have it, if we see flowers, if there's one that has more than another, Jan. Book 3, book 14. Yeah, they're in several. I think book 13, Jan. I think book 13 probably has the most. But I can double check. See, this is the plates or birds. Oh, I know what we can do. I think there's an index of the plates. Key to illustrations. Somewhere I think I saw an index that showed the plates. Key to the paintings. All right, Shauna's the index. I'm not seeing it right now, but I will flip through tonight. And if I see one with more flowers in the cup, I'll switch it out. Okay? And then there's a 1953 annual, which is the same basic thing. They just put out updates every year, but it has a little bit more color around its illustrations. Okay, Jan. So I'll put these in the Etsy, and I'll show them again on Friday. Because like I said, I know most of our book people aren't really here. That was the whole shelf. And then I have just a few. This is it. I just have a few of these books. This is Falling Apart. it's got different animals and bugs in camouflage and butterflies. And I'm going to do these for $3. They're all falling apart. So this one's called The Backyard Detective. This one is an actual story, but the kids have kind of destroyed it. And it's got all kinds of fish illustrations, beautiful artwork, and story inside it. And it's got slick pages. And this one's going to be $5. It's a hardback. And I'm going to list these in the shop. And this one is a book of airplanes. And again, the kids were kind of rough on it, but it's good for collage. It is very oversized, so some of them would be harder to use. This one is a popular science book from Scholastic, and it just goes through the history of science through the years and has images and text. All right, Tanya. And it's going to be $5. This one is another book on flight, and you can see like it's coming apart from the cover. And it's more airplanes. The boys were hard on the books. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to do that one for $3 because it is. Yeah. Oh, it's not moldy at all. This one, it's not moldy at all. The kids I teach school, so they've torn it apart. It's not moldy at all. They've just dog-eared the edges. But there's no water damage. There's no mold. Here, let me back the camera out. This would be a good journal for Z. If she did want to do a journal in it, because it's all fish sea. Okay. And that's all the books. Well, there's one other. I take it back. I lied. This one is a C color book. Bob colored 1. 2. Started 1. Yeah, he colored in this front. And I'm going to say 3 on that too. Like I said, and there's these show you how to color it for each page. like realistically. And these could be cut apart and used too. You want to take it too? Okay. All right. So once again, if you will email me your address to either daf61@gmail or daf10@gmail, and when I'll invoice you what it was, and we'll estimate shipping. And if it's over on the shipping, I will refund it to you. That's what I did on Deborah ordered something the other day, and it charged her for 2 items, but it was way more, and I just refunded it. Or I can put it as a custom order on Etsy. We'll decide once the books I'll send separately. Oh, here it is. They're on the bottom of the screen, Elaine. My PayPal and my Google Pay are emails at Gmail. You can also message me in the shop in a conversation. All right, let's throw down a little bit of ink. And the stuff that's not sold, I'll list. I'll show it again Friday before I list it to give any other people a chance. Okay? So I have a new composition notebook. For those of you who didn't want to buy something, sorry. And I've glued 2 pages together everywhere except for a couple of places I messed up. There's 3. Somewhere in the front, I messed up. So what I'm going to do to start with, I want to make this book more abstract. So I'm going to take some deli paper, and I'm going to get pages wet because we're going to really soak it. I don't care. I want this ink or paint to travel, but I like the deli paper on either side to kind of keep it from going farther than what I want. So I'm going to kind of go to the middle, and I am going to take these. A second. These won't spray. I love the paints in them. You clean them, they still clog. So some of them will, but I have decided spray or not spray. If they don't spray, then I'll just open them and use a paintbrush. And sling. And then I'm going to add some more water to the orange. And then what I usually do, I'm going to put the lid on that so I don't. I'm out of the black Bombay ink, but I have black for this. But again, doesn't work. because I want a little bit of black in here. All right, and then what I usually do is sort of squish it. Hi, Ollie. Oh, I didn't sell very many of the books, but I do have some left, Belinda. So if you go back and look, if you message me, if you see something that you want that didn't sell. All right, let's add. See why? I'm going to add some more turquoise in that same area. This is red. Let's go ahead. And I'm not worried about polluting. I'm just trying to get some base layers. And I want it to bleed through on these other pages. Yep, just paint and smush. Oh, see, that one sprays. And this isn't the last layer, it's just the first layer. And if I get paint on see, like this one sprays sometimes, then it quits. Do some red. I just want to use up this paint because it's going to go bad. I already had one that leaked and I threw it away. All right, I'll put this. I meant to get the pizza box because this is so messy. So then I'll just kind of let those bleed into each other. Get the edges wet. I think I'll see if the little bit of this is white. And these are acrylics, so they'll be permanent when they're dry. The other thing I did was sometimes get this wet. Take that beaded up part and put it on it. I just knocked over the orange. Okay. No one panic. Let's give me just a minute. I'll put that page back there. Only bad thing about leaving the lids off is that's going to happen. All right, let me tighten these so I don't knock any else. Okay, I have orange paint creeping towards the Finnabar paint. It's a good thing I like that orange. All right, I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna stick pieces of deli paper in here because I'm dealing with a mess. Normally I would start drying this, but right now we're gonna deal with the orange monster that's on my desk. Okay. And everywhere I put paint, I'll just put a piece of deli paper for right now. Because you don't know how much spilled on the desk. Like half the jar of the orange. I said sling paint. It's just going to have a lot of orange in it. That's all right. It's just the first layer, so I'm just trying to use it up before I clean it up as much as possible. And then we'll come in and we'll dry it. I have plenty of these papers from the last journal. All right, that is most of the paint. Yeah, I really like it with turquoise, so it was going to be used a lot anyways. I was trying to use them up. I was trying not to get it on the floor. Joyce would be getting on me about. Throwing away those. All right, so. Let that smush. And when you go to smush, just make sure there's no paint on the side of the paper that you're smushing with. All right, let's get the heat gun out. This is and sometimes I'll fold them in on each other. And let's I'll save some of these orange. And that one tore, but I don't even care about that. The deli papers I'll end up using, and I'll just repair this when I add a layer to it. And I'll use these for collage papers. Some of these are getting very painty, and I'll probably jelly print on them. Normally I control. I don't do this many at one time because normally I don't have spilt paint. I normally do like 3 or 5. But this is going to require a little bit. Bye, Belinda. That got most the mop up clean and dry. Try one more. Some of this green might come off if it's from a dilutions or a but normally what I'm dealing with is just this one area. And so sometimes I take and move it when it's wet, then I can move some of the paint. Like that's a pretty start right there. And that's just bleed through. I'm going to have to turn the heat gun on for a few minutes. Sorry, guys. But you can see how the turquoise is pretty much lost on that one, but you can see how some places came darker and some places are lighter. If they were not acrylic, I would just leave them wet and let them dry. But because they're acrylic, I need to dry them. And some of these had shimmer. But that's basically how how I'll add. The first step will be adding paints and inks. The other thing that I'm going to use besides those inks is I am using the Amsterdam inks. And I use them in a very similar way. These have quite a bit, so I'm going to let them, I'm going to go to back where we had some of the other orange. And I just leave the pieces of deli paper and I keep using the same deli paper as I work. Okay, so there's orange. Put deli paper right there. Actually, this will be better. There's a couple together. All right, so we'll put deli paper back here. So there's one. Take that deli paper out. It's two. And I'll leave that back here and put the deli paper back here. And then what I'll do is get this wet. These little eyedroppers are useless. Get more water. Smush. Try a yellow. Get this wet again. Turn that over. Let's try some kind of blue here. Try some more of that yellow. I'm gonna put those lids on. Get that wet. Smush. And then I would dry. Again, like I said, this is just the first layer of paint. You can use deli paper to pick up and move it. Sometimes I fold the ends. You just have to be careful when they're real wet because they'll tear. See, that tore a page. But I can glue it back together later, and I don't care if there's a tear. No, Eileen, I haven't. Since Saturday. Right, Saturday night. But that's what I'll do. Yeah, but I thought maybe that she was still maybe having some problems with her medicine, not feeling well. Because, yeah, she had talked about a members only stream for Monday. Because I know she's something with the comp book. I think that's actually dry. I think it's just a shadow of the paint. But I'll just keep working through the whole book, and I'll re-glue as pages come apart. I'll re-glue them because it's going to get so wet. Yeah. Hopefully, if it's not settling down, she'll talk to her doctor. Maybe they'll change her medicine. It'd be good to know if she had been on Animal Crossing. I'm not on Animal Crossing. Ah, That could be Eileen. So that's kind of what I'll end up doing is I'll keep adding inks. Eventually I'll add some of the Distress Oxide stuff too, which is easier to do because when I spray this stuff and get it wet, it doesn't stick to each other as bad. These are acrylics, so that's part of the problem with the sticking and only working a few pages at a time. Normally I would only work like 3 or 4 pages of this, and I would make sure it was dry. I tend to do it when I'm watching other people stream, and I can smush and move the inks around. But I paid so little for these and I never use them. So, and these I've had for years and they're going to go bad. So I want to use these in this journal as the base and then add to them. Hating downtown Toronto. I wonder if she went down for an appointment or a test. She might have, Shauna. She might have gone back. She may have still have been having problems. They may have asked her to come in. They may be switching her medicine or something, maybe. And I'll stamp on these and spray on them and add, and then I'm going to come back in and do abstract collage. You can see the shimmer on some of these. But that's about enough mess for me today. I'll jelly print in them too. But I like to do all the spray stuff first. You get all the good wrinkles, get all the inks on there, do all the wet stuff. Like this one's really turning out pretty. And just with some white gesso on top of it, that could push back the dark layer if I need it to. For those of you who bought buttons and books, I'll get those all invoiced tonight and tomorrow as I get the emails. And figure out shipping and stuff. And I'll list the things that I didn't sell. I'll list on my Etsy. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to just take this. Well, I don't think normally I smush it, but I think I want to leave this side. And then I think I want to prop paint. Like I said, normally I don't get all of this so wet at one time. I think I'm going to prop those pages so they can kind of air dry a little bit better. What's Paula's Twitter? Is it Journal Artista? Paula Phillips. She's on my Twitter, but after you get on there, I don't pay attention to the names. All right. So let me go ahead and so this is my emails. if you didn't get them earlier. I'll leave them in the chat. All right, have a great night.